be in the shot with him and just hang out. This looks good. Okie dokie. You're a good boy. You go back to sleep. Great, great. All right. Let me get more situated. You okay? I would like for him to stay asleep while I get situated. Okay. So let's see. This is my 3-month-old Georgie. He's a golden doodle. And when I tap into him, I do get some confusion and a lot of love in his heart. It feels like his story was a lot of passing him off and around. And because that, he hasn't been able to settle down. We've had him for 2 weeks, and the person before couldn't keep him and got him from the shelter, which is really surprising because he's such a beautiful dog, a golden doodle. But there's no hard feelings with him. It's all love. Everything's been like, great, okay, next place. There is a lot of confusion in his head on just the topic of being able to settle. And it's not anything sad, but it does feel like, as far as temperament and adjusting, like being able to feel safe and feel settled. Because of that, it feels like there's going to be some misalignment. Yeah, for him, so I would say the example of, well, one of my nephews is a foster child, and my sister, my half sister, took him in. And he's one of the sweetest, happiest people that I know. This kind of reminds me of Georgie, who Georgie does feel in his heart. I'm doing an intuitive pet reading on my new puppy. He does feel like a foster dog. And it's no hard feelings, but his brain, there's something there that he's just not quite yet able to understand how to like land and feel at home. And so if this was someone else's dog, I would say, let me do this puzzle. I would really recommend getting him his own things that are just his. He does have like 10 toys that are just his. They're new puppy toys. Someone told me recently that I needed to, I don't know what they told me. I don't really listen to other people's advice, obviously, but I had the intuition of like, yeah, that's a good idea. I will wash the previous toys that we have so that he can have his own scent on them. So Georgie has a lot of love in his heart, but there's something that's misaligned when it comes to like landing and settling in and feeling at home. It feels like it's gonna take him like as long as he's been living to really feel at home anywhere. Um, his story feels like a lot of moving around. And let's see. So I'm gonna do more of a pet reading on my own dog. I'm gonna treat him as someone else's dog and not really think about how much that I love him. just so I can really connect to him and be honest and be blunt. So, in pet readings, how I connect to animals is I'll connect to their energy by connecting to the love. Usually, it's connecting to the person's heart who is having the reading. I'll connect to their heart to connect to their puppy's heart, and their puppy will show me a few things. He's showing me jumping up on his hind legs and wanting treats and wanting to get like all the food. He's very food driven puppy. And he does do this, but he doesn't really like what he's showing me is jumping and standing on his hind legs. And he doesn't really do that, but maybe he will when he's older. Another thing that I can get from him is he's showing me um, being in the bathtub. And that's interesting because the first time that I gave him a little bath, he didn't seem interested at all. But the second time he was playing in the water, feels like this is something that he likes, that he wants to do more, play in the water and do more and experience more things. The other thing that he's showing me is being really thirsty. And he has been drinking a lot of water, but this is really good because I feel like he needs a little bit more. You know how cats they get their moisture from wet food? I wonder if they have, I don't even know if they have wet puppy food, but this feels like it would be good for him so that he can absorb more of that. Or while I'm thinking of, I'll do a health scan, a health checkup on him. I'm doing a reading on my own puppy, and I'm not a doctor or a veterinarian, but sometimes when they're scratching their heads or giving us $1,000 vet bill, it's really nice to know and be able to read your animal. And you guys can do this. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of practicing. I didn't know that I could connect to animals, and still they started coming into like the intuitive readings where I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I know we're trying to talk about your grandma in spirit, but your dog has something to say. So in pet readings and the intuitive checkups, I start at the like top of their head. 50% of animals have headaches and it's all different reasons, but let me see. Oh, look, he's smiling. He's happy. Maybe he likes this. Maybe it feels good to him. I'm doing this for real, so give me like a second because I'm curious as well to see what's really going on inside of him. I would really like to know. So far, he's shown me like um, things that he would want in the future, things that I wasn't thinking of. So, starting from his head, he doesn't have a headache, which is good. He's got a lot of stimulating things going on, and I'm not sure about this. You know, babies, how kids, their depth perception isn't really there. Feels like his depth perception is not what I think it is. Like if I were to throw a treat, it feels like the treat just disappears. When I'm tapped into his brain, like I can see all of those things like configuring. He's trying to figure out life and he's trying to fit in and feel accepted. He doesn't want to be a burden, which is interesting because um, I don't want to say obviously, but obviously he doesn't have those feelings of being a burden. Those are like human emotions, those are human people things. But through, I don't know, his instincts of being a dog, a canine, a like packed animal, he still has that, wants to be accepted and wants to like squeeze and find his way in. That's what I mean by he has the energy of not wanting to be a burden. It reminds me of a wolf pack, how he wants to just lip on in. Um, okay, so I'm getting a strong sense of like sinuses or something here. It's, you know how animals are teething and their smell, I don't know, it's almost like, you know how when animals are teething and there's discomfort, there's almost like discomfort right here for him. And it reminds me of like sensory overload. Like there's too many smells. And so it's not really like sinus stuff, but it does feel like for him, me knowing this information now, I'm gonna wash stuff that has a smell. Like I can smell some urine on this chair probably from when my big dog, has peed on it. Um, yeah, his sinuses, like all of that really hurts. It feels like it's sensory overload. I'd say on a scale of 1 through 10, it's a 4, which in pet readings, I think that that's um, borderline unacceptable. I think that if your pet has pain level of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we're going to talk about it and we're going to freaking alleviate that right away. For him to have a 4, um, I don't like that. And so I'm going to do my job, or I'm going to do my job as best as I can to like make sure that smells aren't too much for him. Because it's kind of like disorienting. For his mouth, for his teething, let me see what's going on there. Yeah, and even right here on his nose. You know when it's really cold outside and we're running? It kind of feels like that. Like for his nose. It's almost like an icy feeling, the tip of his nose. Oh my gosh. So, puppies, the smells are extremely overwhelming. The like ice sensation that he has on the tip of his nose, it's like a 2, but it's very distracting. There's some people like myself that we don't really like to run in the cold because it's not really worth it. That's what it feels like. It's like an icy sensation that's pretty sharp right here. And then it's distracting. Poor baby. Um, all right. But my main focus is teething to see what's going on there. I've been asking you guys this whole time. Leave in the comments, give me some advice, some tips, help me to help him with his teething, but I'm going to do that myself now. Ooh, it feels like ice water. Ice water would be really good for him. That's awesome. If you guys have an animal and you have questions, we can do this with them together on the phone. I would say over Zoom, but I don't know if with all this puppy stuff that I can like have my makeup and everything right for a Zoom reading. But I'm a pet intuitive and this is my new 3-month-old puppy. And I need to start writing some of this stuff down because I don't want it to go through one ear out the other. This is good information. Let me find a pen. Okay. So we're giving my new dog, a pet reading, and we have learned some stuff. What would help with teething would be ice water. I'm gonna wash, I'm gonna remove as many smells in the house that I can because it's very overwhelming for him. It's like a 4, just weird sinus sensation. It feels like outside smells would be good, would be neutral. I don't know, would like help or alleviate some of that. Maybe there's fragrances, but his sinuses are, whew. Okay, for his teething, was there anything else? Oh, for his brain. So he's trying to fit in, slip in, squeeze in. He doesn't want to feel like a burden. He wants to just fit like a puzzle piece. So I would let him know telepathically, you are the puzzle piece. Actually, that's what I say. He is the puzzle piece that was missing that we didn't even realize. And so how I'm going to get that to him is I feel like training and tricks have been so like successful because how I telepathically connect with our animals is I think of a thought in my head and I attach a happy motion and I send it over to them. So when I'm doing like sit, I'll visualize him sitting and I'll visualize me giving him a treat and like how happy that makes me, and he'll sit. And so, what I would do to alleviate him feeling like a burden, because he's absolutely not, is visualize him being the like missing piece, the missing puzzle, and we're so happy that he's here with us. I'm gonna like send that to him once a day until he starts to feel really at home, because it feels like his backstory, even though he's not upset or hurt or has like negative feelings about like this home wasn't the one, this home wasn't the one, this whatever. It feels like that did something to him mentally where like he can't like click and settle quite yet. And it felt like intuitively that that's going to take about 3 months for him to really feel at home, even though he's only 3 months old. So I'm going to write down 3 months and puzzle piece. But he is a very happy puppy. He's just confused. He's confused on how to fit in and how to do things right. He wants this to like work. And it's gonna definitely work. Okay, to his teething. Yeah, this teething stuff is no joke. It does kind of feel like bleeding teeth, which I guess that's kind of what's going on. It's very like vibrating, and it feels like it also adds to, I know I said he didn't have a headache, but maybe you guys can think like when your teeth are hurting so bad, it feels like you have a migraine. That's kind of what it feels like for him. It's like, especially over here, 222. So for that, ice water was going to help. Yeah, ice water is really going to help because his teeth, I don't know, are going to like absorb that coldness, and it feels like it's going to alleviate his gums. So I'm also getting that anything that was like squishy and cold, that would be good. I'm wondering what would be squishy and cold, like a meshy material. Like, you know, the baby teething pops? That would be good for him. Maybe I will actually go to a different store and get some baby teething stuff for him. That feels like it will help. I'm going to write down baby teething and like mashed banana and mashed strawberry. That feels like that would be good. So I'm going to write down frozen banana. Guys, I have been asking for help for um in the comments, like, help me with my teething puppy, but I'm a pet intuitive. So I'm giving him a reading. Frozen banana. Georgie, what else will help you with your teething? I also feel like something that's gummy that he can chew on. Like caramel, but not. So yeah, like caramel chews would be so good for a teething puppy. But how can I give that to him in something that is healthy? What's like a gummy? Gosh, if I could give him frozen gum, that would be good. Hmm. Maybe the store will have something. I'm gonna write down frozen caramel chew, because that's what would really help. And what else? Oh, it also feels like, have you guys seen those teething whitening tooth chews where it looks like someone's chewing on bamboo? It feels like something like that would help him. I'm gonna write down like bamboo chew. Now we have one, two, three, four, five ideas just by me tuning into him to see what would actually work for him. This isn't really stuff that I could have gotten from YouTube or maybe you guys in the comments. Thank you for being here. I'm a pet intuitive and I'm giving my new puppy his second reading. We've gotten a lot of information just by like tapping into his little head. Now that I feel like I can work with that for teething stuff, I'm going to move down the rest of his body to see what else is going on. We're taking him to the vet like next week, and I'll be like, yeah, I knew that. Um, he's thirsty. Water doesn't really feel like it's scratching the itch. You know how we have aloe water? Something like that would feel good for him. If there was a I'm going to write down aloe water. Not that I'm going to give him aloe water, but at the store, if I could find something to add in his water, I'm wondering like coconut oil. Maybe not, because that solidifies. That seems like it's going to help quench his thirst a little more. And I've been giving him sink water where my dog, when it was just me and him, he was getting filtered water. So I think I'm going to rethink giving him filtered water as well. It feels like the water that he has, it's not doing anything for him. And I would really like it to. It feels like it's not like hydrating, it's not absorbing. So, moving down to his chest area, his heart, um, it's kind of sad, but it's maybe just like what would you expect? He's not like imprinted, he doesn't love me to death or love my boyfriend to death like most animals when I tap into them. So that's like surprising. And I do have like a little tear in my eye about that, but it is what it is. We've had him for 2 weeks. I love him to death. He doesn't love us to death yet. He doesn't know what's going on. He's also like trying to feel safe, which I feel bad talking over him while he's trying to take a nap, but he seems fine. Um, I'm kind of upset because I wish that my dog and cat would be more welcoming. Even though on a scale of 1 through 10, they've been a 7. They've been very, very well, but he really deserves a 10. And so the first thing that I wrote on my list was I'm going to do my best to help him feel really welcomed because he's not like fully there yet where when you get a new baby and you bring him home, they are a family member forever and ever. He is that as well, but he's not really seeing that potential, which is sad. For his lungs, actually, back to his throat, there's something there. To me, it feels like when our cry thing is triggered and it like hurts. He's got like a hurty sensation here. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm gonna figure it out. So for us, this reminds me of throat chakra. There's something going on with his throat chakra, maybe. Oh, he's dreaming. You get him. Get him, Georgie. Run. Run. Go. Get him. Get him. How can my dog express his throat chakra? It feels like it's connected to his heart, and in time, he'll be able to. It is sad to me. The energy feels like a foster child who, like, at night they need to cry or they want to cry, but they don't. It feels like a good, like, releasing, surrendering cry would be good for him. You know what? It's like the I'm finally home kind of cry, which is surprising and upsetting because he looks so happy to me. But yeah, there's some not fully settled going on there. All right. To his lungs, there was something going on there. Hi. His lungs. He hasn't shown any like breathing issues, and maybe it's just his small lungs, but they're not. You know how we don't use like all of our brains, we don't use all of our lungs? He's not using all of his lungs. And I don't know if that's just a puppy thing because I know in pet readings, I have really sugar coated this like kind of stuff because sometimes it's like, what the hell? What's wrong with his lungs or his throat or why does he need to cry? So I do like make pet readings really light. I do remember saying like maybe that's just his puppy lungs like being so small. But I'm gonna keep that in mind because in the future, I think breathing stuff, there's something like I'm gonna keep that in mind. Breathing stuff, like circulation. He needs more. He needs like his blood flowing. You know, when dogs are like running and running and running like up the hill and like breathing and panting, it feels like that's going to help him. Maybe like expand his lungs. Maybe he's not using like his lungs to the full capacity. And so that's really helpful. I think that will actually really help. So I'm going to write down extra running. He needs extra running so that he can stretch out his lungs and prevent any stuff in the future because they're like constricted. Okay. For his tummy stuff, his kidneys and his pancreas. I'm gonna see if anything pings up. There's something. I don't even know what a pancreas is. That wasn't like random. I think there's something. I don't want to bore you to death, but I'm trying to figure out like what's going on, buddy. You know when we have like acid reflux, it feels like I'm also kind of getting worried. There's like a misfire in his pancreas. And I really feel like I could smooth it out. I think what would be really helpful is extra stretching and massages. So to me, I'm going to write down stretching massages. So to me, you know, when you have a cramp, this is a girl thing. Sometimes when we like stand up, our uterus or our ovaries are like, whoa, weird stretch. And sometimes like we need to like weird stretch to like move things around. It feels like that's what he needs. Um, Otherwise, there's like a burning sensation. So for him, and if you have a puppy as well, I would like stretch their legs and make sure they're getting all the exercise. It's like he's so fresh, he's so new. If you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. And this is such a like formative age that he needs to be doing all the things, all the movements. His stomach, his stomach feels a little weird as well. Um, I'm thinking of like bile and gut bacteria just like needing to stabilize. It feels like he does need something, some like extra help with that. Because it's just like messy. You know what I'm thinking of? You know those one pot dinners where you can like throw everything into the crock pot? You can throw everything into Dutch oven or whatever. And when it's done cooking, if you like stir it and blend it, it turns into this like mess. It feels like for him, his stomach feels like a like blended mess. Where usually animals is like a layer of this, a layer of that, a layer of we just had something weird. Like I don't know. After doing this for so long, it's like I feel like I can understand what's going on in their stomach and how it's supposed to be like layered and relaxed and like breakfast and lunch and dinner. But for him, it just feels like a big ol' like oatmeal bowl. So to help that, I was under the impression that he needs more food, but I feel like twice a day would be like much more healthy, like AM, PM. Maybe just while his stomach and stuff is settling. When I ask, like, oh, what about treats and this and that and this and that? Because that's what I did with my previous puppy. Like, let him try everything to see what he liked. That really messed with his stomach. For this one, it feels keep it very basic. Like, don't let him have upset stomach now because maybe he'll have upset stomach in the future. Yeah, that feels true, which is not what I would have thought. But I guess we don't really like when we have babies, we don't really like give them like applesauce and like pudding. So that makes sense. For his legs, yeah, they kind of hurt. I'm gonna like stretch him like crazy. When we have stiff sore limbs, that's what it kind of feels like, especially right here. Like I could feel that in different spots on my body, kind of where his muscles are. So his muscles are stiff. If you have a puppy, stretch out their muscles, especially like right here in the like muscly spot. I'm gonna like stretch them out and massage them out. But yeah, good thing I took notes. That's very informative stuff. And it's not always like, oh, rainbows and sunshine, but it's real helpful insight that who would have thought?